What's up, everybody, on a Monday evening? The first official show after the NFL season. There is going to be no more football until, August, when preseason game starts. So we've got 6 long months to talk about what happened and what will happen as we move forward with the 2024 NFL season. So there's a bunch to talk about as it happens. I'm not going to talk about the garbage stuff every single day. I'm going to talk about stuff that's newsworthy, things that actually make sense. Right now the talk is Tua's about to get paid big money. Then we're going to, in March or so, we'll enter the free agency period. And then from there, we're going to go into the NFL draft in mid to late April. And then, of course, the mini camps are in May, and then of course July opens with the actual preseason camp. So got a long way ahead of us. But before we get there, before we do anything tonight, before we talk about Tua and the insanity of the Miami Dolphins leadership, I got some big news for you. I have some news for you that some people really don't like. F them. They don't like it, don't watch. Got something big for you. So what do we have for you to announce? Drum roll. On Wednesday evening, oh boy, it's going down. This won't be for the weak of heart. Omar, Kelly, Alan Poupart, I hope I said his name correctly, TD of TD Fins Talk, and yours truly will be discussing the Miami Dolphins and, of course, Tua Tagovailoa. Ooh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. People are already freaking out. People are already saying, Omar, why would you bring 2 non-fans like TD and Barry on? Oh my God, what are they going to do? We're panicking. These guys are grifters. Oh my God, what can we do? It's so bad in some circles of the Dolphins Twitter sphere that they don't even want to hear objective information. Don't even talk to me about objective information. So the 4 of us are going to get together, and like I said in this tweet, let the wailing and gnashing of teeth, I spelled gnashing wrong, of teeth begin. And there's the 4 of us. We're going to film it Wednesday at 6:30 or so. I'm not sure if it's going live, but I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you more about that. But Wednesday at 6:30, we're going to be doing a show with Omar Kelly, Alan Poupart, myself, and TD Fins, and we're going to talk Miami Dolphins, and we're going to talk, obviously, a lot about Tua Tagovailoa. The powers that be are already freaking out. They're already trying to get Alan and Omar to back out. You shouldn't even let these guys have a forum, not realizing, TD and myself already have a forum. You're here. You know that. In fact, TD has probably double the amount of subscribers that Alan and Omar have, and I have almost 3 times as much as Omar and Alan have. So it cracks me up when people say, you shouldn't let them be on your forum. I'm like, hey man, we're the ones with the bigger forum. The 2 of us have bigger audiences than Alan and Omar. They don't want to hear that. They think that everything Omar says is just gospel. But if you've noticed, if you follow Omar on Twitter, he's beginning to let things seep out. He's beginning to let people know, hey man, this is craziness. This is absolute insanity. Now I have something to show you, and I'll bring it up when I have my show with Omar. I've got an old tweet of Omar's. I'm not sure when this was, but he wrote this. Now, it's a fact that this franchise is absolutely resistant to giving a quarterback legitimate competition. The Patriots drafted Jimmy G. The Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers when, obviously, Brett Favre was still the quarterback. How many quarterbacks did the Steelers draft? Absolutely. It's about having a talented, inexpensive, young quarterback other than Tua. I'm going to ask you, do you still feel that way? Because that's all I've been saying. I have not said trade Tua. I have not said get rid of Tua. For over a year now, my sentiment has been, Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Why won't you bring in valid competition to see how this guy stands up? You won't even do that. You're bringing in Mike friggin' White and Skylar, but you're not bringing in any major talent. You're not saying, hey, listen, you're going to compete for the starter's job. Are you afraid Tua's feelings are going to get hurt? Are you feeling that emotionally he may not be able to handle it? Because if you are, you're basically telling people that he's got an issue and you don't want to deal with that. So I'll get to that as we go on today because there's so much to talk about. So you guys all watched the Super Bowl probably. You saw the Kansas City Chiefs eke out a win against the San Francisco 49ers. You saw Mike Shanahan do the same thing as Mike McDaniel and not run the ball when he should have been running the ball. Maybe that's a problem with the Shanahan tree and their offense, but dude, you leave Patrick Mahomes' time on the clock, he's an assassin. He's going to take you out, and he did just that. So one of the things I want to talk about, and it drives me crazy because I feel like sometimes on Twitter, these people go out there and somebody says something and they take it as a mantra and they keep repeating it. And one of those mantra statements is, it's a team game. It's not all on Tua. You can't expect to blame a loss or a win on Tua because it's a team game. That is true. But in the essence of what that statement means is you don't understand how championship football works. What did you see yesterday, last evening? Think about it. Think about what you saw. You saw not one, but two quarterbacks who overcame adversity and put the team on their backs and willed their team, one to almost victory and the other one to victory. And in doing so, if you were honest and you watched this game, these guys were doing things that Tua could never do. Not the Tua we know now. Maybe before Tua could do some of that stuff. This isn't the Tua that used to be able to do this stuff. None more so than that scramble for like 25 yards that Patrick Mahomes did and got them into touchdown position. Tua can't do that. Tua can't put the team on his back. Tua can't say, listen, guys, I'm going to will this and make this happen. You know, if you're comparing quarterbacks, you want to talk about an elite quarterback, that's a quality that every single elite quarterback has. They have the capacity to put a team on their shoulders and say, we're going to win this game. By hook or crook, I'm going to get you there. Patrick Mahomes, you left him with too much time in the game, and damn if he didn't go down the field and get that win. Tua failed a couple times this year. Yeah, don't talk to me about the Baltimore Ravens last September. I'm talking about what have you done for me lately? You see these quarterbacks that are considered elite quarterbacks, and the number one intangible skill set that you can't measure is heart. And you watch these guys, both of them, Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes, lift that team, their teams collectively, lift them up, float all the other boats and say, we can do this, guys. We can get down here and win this game. In fact, you look at Patrick Mahomes' his face when he had to come back, and it's almost like he knew, did you really leave me like a minute and a half to do this? Because if you left me with that much time, you guys are toast. I'm going to come down here and do everything I possibly can to win this game. Did you see his numbers in postseason? Yeah, they lost some games during the regular season, still beat the Dolphins twice. But man, he was unstoppable when it counts. Not in September, not in October, when it counts. That's what a lot of Miami Dolphins fans don't understand. This guy and Brock Purdy put it together when it means something. I had posted something on Twitter last week, and Emmanuel Acho had posted something, and I turned it into a little meme picture. Fans, please stop looking at stats and look at film. Stop looking at stats. Ignore Tua's stats. They mean absolutely nothing. Go ahead and watch film. You could have turned the game off yesterday and just took excerpts from the film of those two quarterbacks and went, damn, that's some elite quarterback play. And there's some people out there who said, oh, well, Tua's better than Brock Purdy. And I keep asking people, define better. Because what you saw yesterday, they're not even close. They're not even the same zip code. The stuff that even Brock Purdy did yesterday, Tua of 2023 can't do. There is no denying it. But here we are on the precipice of giving this guy $55-60 million a year. And I'm over it. I mean, people have asked me to stop talking about it. Here's what you get. Just deal with it. No, I'm not going to deal with it. Just he's your quarterback. You got to do it. I don't got to do shit. This is ridiculous. So let me go to what Barry Jackson had said. But first, I tweeted this after the game. Imagine you're a Miami Dolphins fan, and after watching the best Super Bowl, arguably of all time, with two amazing quarterbacks, you wake up tomorrow knowing, meaning today, that the Dolphins are looking to pay Tua Tagovailoa $50 million plus. That set well with you? That they're really talking about giving this guy $50 million? Based on what? So Barry Jackson put out some information. Barry Jackson from the Miami Herald. He's talking about Mike Garofalo, who in turn was talking about Tom Pelissero. It says, mentioned in here by 3 NFL net insiders. With the salary cap continuing to rise, Tua now has a strong case, I don't know how, to push for a contract at or above Joe Burrow's top of the market $55 million per season. Remember, Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl, lost to the Rams. Actually had to win a few playoff games to get there. Tua hasn't won shit. Notes that indications are both sides would like to get a deal done quickly. I'm just praying that this is a smokescreen. I'm praying that it's not real. And then on top of that, Barry's one of those people who said, don't ask any questions. Forget this who's better discussion, he says. Like it or not, too bad. You got to take it. Tua's reps can say he outperformed Herbert at $52.5 million and Burrow at $55 million at 23 because Burrow got hurt before their season-ending injuries, plus cap going up. Not sure why anybody thinks he would jump at undervalued, happy to be here deal. Hey, Barry, I own a team if I'm Stephen Ross. I'm Chris Greer, the general manager. I don't care what Tua's reps want. I don't care whether or not Tua would be happy to jump at a deal. He's under contract. The safest thing that the Miami Dolphins franchise could do at this point is to say, we're going to make you play on a 5th-year option. If you don't want to play, let us know, sit it out, and we'll find somebody else. I can't for the life of me understand why the Miami Dolphins don't play hardball with a guy who has not won a single playoff game, and you're comparing him to Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Now, Justin Herbert, let me just explain this to you. Justin Herbert hasn't done much either. Everybody understands that. But understand this, is that Justin Herbert gets $52 million on his contract in California. Los Angeles Chargers, meaning 40% of that money or so is, take it off the top, that's going to taxes. So when you deal with a player who plays in some place like California, well, in order to net where you need to be, you have to increase the gross because of the taxes. So when you're using that top level number of $52.5 million that Justin Herbert got, you're lying to everybody. You are absolutely lying to everybody. Herbert got 52.5 and Tua outperformed him. No. There's no state income tax down here. None of you guys know that. There's no state income tax here in South Florida. So you don't need to get that high to get where Herbert's going to net. If Herbert and his contract was for $52 million, he's basically around 30. Go ahead and take 40% right off the top, maybe even more. So that's taken that's taken basically 20 million right off the top. That puts him about 32. Tua this year made 23. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl. He got paid 55. So he won playoff games and he went to the Super Bowl. Herbert didn't perform either, but you had to bulk that contract up because of California. I'm pretty sure Justin Herbert's reps went and said, hey, listen, we're not going to sign this. We're going to look for someplace else because California's just raping my client. California's taking his money. And so even if you're paying this kid $50 million in Los Angeles, it's the same as getting 30, 35 someplace else. Nobody, and I do mean nobody, ever takes that into account. Nobody. It's just like it's not even there. They just immediately say, well, Herbert got 52, Tua's got to get 52. It's bullshit. It's very simple accounting. They had to bulk his salary up because of what he's going to net. Tua doesn't need to do that. Doesn't really need to do it at all because you can say, Tua, you need to play on your fifth-year option. That's it. Strong tactic in negotiation is the first person that mentions numbers loses. So you walk into the room. So, hey, Tua, what his reps, what are you looking for? And as soon as they say a number, just shut up. And then they go, what's wrong? You're already under contract. We don't need to do this. We don't need to do anything. We're humoring you by having this meeting. We already know Tua has to play next year and possibly for 2 years beyond that simply because he's under contract. If he chooses not to play, then that's his business. If he wants to sit out and play hardball, go for it. Go ahead. It doesn't matter. If you sit out, we don't got to pay you anyway. You see the position that Chris Greer is in, except for one reason. And I've heard this all over the place. Who else are you going to get? Who else are we going to get if Tua's not there? Or the other excuse is the salary cap. At some point, all you guys know probably, you've heard of the guy Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey does nothing all day long, all week long. His entire career is built on getting people debt-free. And he tries to show people how you got to shift things around so you can become debt-free. The Miami Dolphins have conditioned so many fans that there's a salary cap issue. At some point, just like with Dave Ramsey, you have to look at your finances and go, we just can't keep kicking this can down the road. At some point, you got to rip the Band-Aid off. Hey, man, we just can't do this anymore. Well, we may lose for another 3 or 4 years. I know, but we need to get our house in order. We need to get our fiscal house in order. We can't just keep writing these big checks and then at the end of the year do some sort of juggling to try and flip the salary cap. How about staying within your means? How about staying within the cap? Right now you're about, 60 million over it? How about slicing and dicing and saying, hey, we can't afford this and we're going to take a hit here and we're going to take a hit there and we may have to lose this player, we may have to lose that player, but you know what? We're going to get our fiscal house in order so that moving forward, we don't have to deal with this shit anymore. But fans, for some reason, have been conditioned to think it's absolutely normal. It's not. Look at the salary cap of most of the winning teams out there. Look at where they are and how they have done their fiscal responsibility. Let me see if I can pull that up. Salary cap of teams, because it's amazing. I've talked about it many times, and people don't seem to understand that good teams really don't operate that way. There's the website here is called Over the Cap. I just want to show you something. All right, here we go. This is going into 2024. The Commanders, they stunk, but they got a whole lot of cap space. The Titans, we know how they are. The Patriots, they're rebuilding. Look at the Bengals with Joe Burrow. Even paying Joe Burrow all that money, they still have $60 million available to them. Think they're going to get better? Colts still have nearly $60 million available to them. Texans went far into the season this year with a rookie quarterback. They still have $58 million still available. The Lions basically almost won the NFC Championship, still have $46 million available. The Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield in a patchwork offense still have $36 million available. The Rams, who made the playoffs, $28 million available. Chiefs, who just won the Super Bowl, have $22 million available. The Philadelphia Eagles, who made the playoffs, $20 million. The Baltimore Ravens still have $7 million. And then you got to get way down here and see the Dolphins almost in last friggin' place. Why? Because Chris Greer doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Well, Barry, you're not a GM. I can balance a checkbook. I know that I just can't constantly be cheating the salary cap, hoping I can take some from Peter to pay Paul. How are the other teams doing it? I just showed you the other teams. And understand here, when you're looking at this, Ravens, $7 million plus surplus. They gave Lamar Jackson huge money. Where's the Eagles? The Eagles, $20 million they have available. They paid Jalen Hurts big money. Patrick Mahomes, they got $22 million available. So, here's the Cardinals. They still have $40 million available, even though they paid Kyler Murray a whole bunch of money. This team is fiscally irresponsible, and it's like this every single year. The Super Bowl winning champs, the Super Bowl winning team is $20-something million in surplus. They've got extra money. They're only going to get better. Why? Because they traded the hell out of Tyreek, and they brought in some younger guys who at the beginning of the year were really screwing up, dropping passes and doing stupid stuff. But now they're going to get reloaded because they've got money. Even the San Francisco 49ers, they're right here. They're only $3 million behind the eight ball. It's going to be really easy for them to do something. And meanwhile, your Miami Dolphins are $52 million in the hole. Almost dead friggin' last. And so people are using that as an excuse why you got to get to a $50 million, because you can structure it like a bonus, and if you do that, then you can shift the money with his cash up front and take it off the... Enough already. An adult has to step into the room. Could it hurt the team moving forward? Could. Very well could. How about, I don't know, being fiscally responsible? Hey, Tua, no, you're not getting $50 million. You're going to play on your option. What? Yeah. I got to get this checkbook in order. And again, you're going to hear the refrain from people. They got to extend Tua because, and they'll give you two reasons. One, they're going to say he deserves it. Two, they're going to say because of the salary cap. Nobody is saying that he's earned it. Nobody has shown that he's got the same cap like the other two quarterbacks that played yesterday. Nobody's saying that. They're pushing the team, and they're pushing it, and the fan club. Everybody, give Tua $50 million, and the rest of you people have to deal with it. I ain't got to deal with it. I'll keep talking about it. So I asked this earlier today, and because people keep asking me, so who else would you bring in? Okay, I'm going to answer that. I've been asked, and I've answered this many times. I feel the team needs to run competition at Tua, real competition, not Mike White, okay? Not Teddy Bridgewater. Trading Tyreek. Oh my God, you stepped on the third rail. Ask Andy Reid about trading Tyreek. I'm going to show you something about that. Could make sense. KC just proved it. As for taking a chance on another quarterback, how did Purdy work out? I spelled his name wrong. Now, it's funny. When I've said that, KC just proved that. Understand that Kansas City basically won the last two Super Bowls after they got rid of Tyreek Hill. What do? They rebuilt, they saved money, and now there's a dynasty in the making. They did it right. They did it the right way. Now, obviously, not every rookie is going to work out like Purdy, of course. But the Dolphins don't even try. Nope, not even going to try. Remember when the 49ers brought in Purdy? He was behind Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. He was a third-string quarterback. Actually, when they brought him in, he was a fourth-string. He beat out Nate Sudfeld in camp to be the third guy on the roster. So when he made the 53-man roster with the San Francisco 49ers, he was behind Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Why did Shanahan draft Purdy with an established vet and a top draft pick already on the roster? Because Shanahan was smarter than McDaniel? Or did he not have an emotionally damaged quarterback on his roster? And what I mean by that is, let's say we go into this draft. Dolphins say, hey, listen, there's a guy out here, Michael Penix, Bo Nix. How about we pick one of these guys? How about we trade for Justin Fields? They won't do it. They haven't shown their propensity to do it. They don't even want to bring in competition against Tua. Why not? Other teams do. You just saw it last night. What makes Tua unchallengeable when Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance weren't? Mike Shanahan said, let's go ahead and take this guy, Mr. Irrelevant, out of Iowa State. Let's see what he's got. We're hearing some good things. He's not going to, cost us anything. It's going to be dirt cheap. He's Mr. Irrelevant. What could he possibly do? Oh, take it to the Super Bowl. Miami Dolphins won't even do that. I doubt they bring in another quarterback. I think they're afraid of upsetting Tua. I think they're afraid of upsetting the fan base, the vocal fan base. But they're not afraid of pissing a lot of people off. And right now, I got to tell you, and I've looked around a lot. Let me just look at my stats here. I bet you, at this point, it's 90%. Even some of the Tua's biggest supporters, I bet 90% of people are like, dude, you can't do this. You can't give this kid $55 million and saddle the team with this kind of debt for the next 5 or 6 years. You can't do it. Chris Greer seems he's dead fast, running towards that cliff. And everybody over here who in the Tuanon crowd is shouting, ooh. And there's other people over here going, hey, man, you can't do this. Even Omar Kelly laughed and said, that can't be happening. You just can't do it. But they seem to want to do it. They haven't mentioned another quarterback in the draft. They haven't mentioned any of the free agents. I mean, they're playing the cards close to the chest. We don't expect that they would say that. But watch what evolves over the next couple of weeks and months. And if they're trying to get a deal done fast, and they announce this thing next week or so that Tua has been given $50 million, shit's going to hit the fan. Absolutely shit the fan. So, it's funny. People have been talking about Tua getting $50 million and bringing him back and locking him in. You would think there'd be a lot of people who are like, man, this is awesome for the team. This is it. This is where we're going to be. That's just the piece we need. We lock him in for 5 more years. We're going to go places. Oh, really? This is what Vegas had to say about that. Here's what Vegas did, knowing that the Dolphins are looking at bringing in extending Tua to a big contract. 2024 Super Bowl odds. Niners, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Lions, and Bengals. I don't see Miami anywhere in the top 6 there. No Miami. 49ers, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Lions, Bengals. People don't expect there to be any difference if you extend Tua and give him $50 million. That's almost embarrassing. You're trying to lock this kid up and give him $50 million, and Vegas is like, go ahead and do it. Won't matter. And it was very interesting. There was a video that went around yesterday that was, I put this up. You're a clown. You don't know ball, talking about me, how they talk to me. me, but the Kansas City Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill, and people asked him if Patrick Mahomes could get it done without him. He's won every Super Bowl since then. And you probably can't hear this, but Andy Reid says, hail to the Dolphins. Hail to the Dolphins for giving us all those picks that we've turned into all-pro people on our team, and we're able to save a whole bunch of money while at the same time winning another Super Bowl. That's how it's done. Miami Dolphins fans have gotten so accustomed to losing. They've gotten so accustomed to irresponsible fiscal management that they just think this shit is normal. Let's extend him. Let's give him $50 million. Oh, God, it's crazy. It's going to be fantastic. And everybody else is laughing at the Dolphins, literally laughing, saying, you got to give this kid $50 million? So I've gone on for a little while. Let me cut here and take some of your comments and see what you guys have to say. Hello, William. William Coe says, there we go, 7-11 next year and a 4-13 year after taking as long as Tua is here. He could be the new 50 Cent. What's up, Killa? I love this one. Where is it? Where'd that go? Okay, yeah. Sal says the Chiefs hustled the Dolphins. You got to believe that at this point. They're like, you're going to pay Tyreek how much? One guy? So that leads me to another thing. If Tua is an elite guy, then you don't need the superstar all-star team wrapped around him. Right? Because if you got Waddle and a couple other guys that are cheaper, Eric Ezekama, an elite quarterback, as you saw last night, doesn't need an all-star team. You make it happen. Has anyone talked about that? Hey, listen, we need Waddle. We need Tyreek. We need this. We need that. We need... Hold up. Look at what Patrick Mahomes did this year when he started with a completely ineffective wide receiver room. And he had to go through the losses, and he had to, fight through it and get these guys up to speed. And you saw it. You saw what happened. McCole Hardman? You mean the guy that the Jets basically gave away scores a winning touchdown? You don't need Tyreek. You don't need the luxury. It's like, you want to go get a Ferrari, but if the BMW gets you to the same place, why not take the BMW for $150,000 less? People here are conditioned to saying we need everything. We need an all-star team. Doesn't work that way. Somebody had asked me, let's see, where did I see it? Let me see if I can find it. Barry, go ahead, please kick Omar's butt on Wednesday. See, I don't look at it and say that I'm going to kick somebody's butt. I'm just going to be myself and be honest. I'm not holding anybody's water at all. Anyway, there was somebody who had mentioned, what about Skylar? Well, has Skylar even been given the shot since last year's Buffalo playoff game to contend with Tua? How many times has he had, and this is something I could ask Omar on Wednesday. Hey, Omar, you guys go down to the camp, right? Let me ask you a question. How much time has Skylar had with the first team reps? Because in order to be competitive, you have to be able to run with the first team. You have to show the exact same pattern with the exact same guys. How is Tua reacting versus Skylar? I want to know that. I want to know from Omar. Omar, if you're listening or you see this tomorrow, that's one of the questions I'm going to ask you and Alan. Tell me how often Skylar has run with the first team. If Skylar has had plenty of time, if he has had plenty of practice running with the first team, and he still isn't considered a guy, then you need to bring another guy in. It's really that simple. You keep bringing people in until you find a guy that can compete with Tua. What the hell? If he's no good, if he's not going to cut it, why the hell would you keep him? Why would you keep Mike White? Bring in Mike Penix. Bring in Bo Nix. Keep bringing people in. And so that's a big question I have is why hasn't Skylar Thompson been given the first team reps? Hey, Jermaine, you said Skylar had all of minicamp and preseason. All right, so I'm going to ask you that question since you chimed in. What percentage of first team reps did Skylar have during minicamp and preseason? You said you know. Let me know. Because I know when we saw the preseason games, he didn't have the first team reps. Not even close. You're making statements based upon assumptions without actually seeing it. Nobody has talked about Skylar Thompson running with the first team. It's been anointed to Tua. This is the guy. We have to go with him. Skylar Thompson he was inactive most of the year and just basically was that third quarterback that you just sit on the bench. Why? Somebody answer that. TD is a Tua hater. No such thing, man. When you guys use that word hater, it just shows you just really are indoctrinated. What you're saying is you can't be objective. You can actually put somebody's film on and go, you can see this right here. Nothing to do with hating. I hate that, man. Sheila Don said Skylar is better than Tua. Purdy only got his shot because of injuries. Good point there. Purdy only got his shot because of injuries. And then when he got his shot, they couldn't get him off the field. So last year, go back and look at the film. Watch how Skylar played against Buffalo. He got his shot because of injuries. Unfortunately, it was the last game of the season. Why wasn't he given another shot? He did absolutely well. Almost pulled off a victory in the snow. Wasn't given a shot to compete for the number one job. Why? Nobody wants to answer that. They had the same, but they had the same argument about Brock Purdy not being able to will his team to a Super Bowl. And, well, looks like everyone was wrong about him. Same goes for Tua. Well, Tua can't do it. He disappeared in December and January. Just completely gone. So, he had his shot. He could have done something. Didn't do it. But you're going to give him $50 million even though he failed. Because of stats. Okay. Mike White brings no value to the team, just donating money to him. Yeah. Monty Finn says, from his understanding, Skylar Thompson was kicking ass in training camp. I don't know. I didn't see it. Great question for Omar and Alan. Tell me what kind of performance Skylar Thompson did in training camp, and then why, once the season turned into regular season, they took him and stuck him in Siberia. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. Billy Baptist says Jermaine's panties getting a bunch when people talk about him. Chief receivers are making $20 million combined. All of them. Tyreek is making 34. Where is the common sense in that? Again, fiscal responsibility. What you're telling me is that Tua can only perform and only get 4,000 yards if he has an all-star team around him. That's what people are saying. You gotta read between the lines. There's no all-star team in terms of the wide receivers in Kansas City. Yeah, Kelsey is all-pro tight end. Of course, we know about Mahomes. But those other guys, you probably didn't even recognize their names yesterday. I mean, these aren't guys that you would consider, hey, man, these guys are just top-notch. Got the job done. Got the job done and more. They're picking up rings come September. Captain Swell, you're absolutely right. Because competition will hurt Tua's feelings. I've heard that over and over. His psychological makeup won't work if you bring in competition against him. You are absolutely saying the guy's weak. The guy's soft. You had to put together a 700-play tape to convince him that he didn't suck. I can't even imagine in the history of the NFL that you ever had to coddle somebody to spend the time putting 700 plays together and say, see what you did here? You don't suck. We can make it work for you. That's all I'm saying, Where did that go? Joe JG says, I followed Skylar in college and that kid can play. Yeah, I'd love to see it. You're preaching to the choir, Barry. Dolphins fans these days. Where's it? Want to lose for some reason because it appears, and I'm going to show you good comment for me to move forward with. Let me just show you something. That reasoning is many of these people are Tua fans and not team fans. You can just see it in the words that they write. So let me find out exactly what I wanted to show you. All right, so let's look at this one. This is something a guy put out. He said, I just looked at Justin Herbert's contract. Okay. 5 years at $262 million, $56 million a year. You guys really think Tua doesn't deserve at least that? In what universe is Herbert better than Tua? Deserve. Your onus for saying that Tua should get paid isn't because he's earned it, it's because the other guy got it. You understand how this is working with these people? They gave Herbert $56 million a year. Tua should get that much. Why? Why can't he just play on his fifth-year option? Why can't he prove it? Justin Herbert, whatever happened in Los Angeles, I told you about the taxes. They chose to make a mistake, if it was a mistake. Why should you jump in bed with a $56 million contract because they effed up? How does it make any sense to follow a mistake and say the other guy should basically be rewarded for their mistake? Why aren't you just looking at one person? Why are you people, not you people, why aren't these people out there going, wait a second, why are we even discussing what Herbert got? Why are we even discussing what Deshaun Watson got? We're talking about Tua. That's it. We're going to look at his body of work. We're going to look at the entirety of it, not just stats, as Emmanuel Ancho said. Forget the stats. Look at his body of work. He goes on. His agent knows it. Tua knows it. And time for the Dolphins nation to know it as well. And it's insane. That is absolutely insane. Give him the money because Justin Herbert got the money. I've seen this kind of shit all day and all week. They just want you to dole out somebody else's money because Justin got it. And I'm like, good thing. Do you run your house that way? Can your wife come back in and say, listen, I'm going to go out and get a Maserati today? What, honey? Yeah, next door neighbor bought one. So my next door neighbor bought one, so we got to get one. What? Honey, we can't do that. Your car is fine. It's working. And if it's not working, then we need to get rid of it. But I can't justify buying a Bentley because they bought one. Is that your own? Is that your judgment? Is that your rationale? Oh, Shirley across the street just got a Bentley. Got to get one. Why? Well, I deserve it. Well, I will admit you are a great wife. You deserve whatever we can get. But I can't say you deserve it because she got it. You wouldn't do that in your own home. You wouldn't do it with your kids. Hey, son, I just bought you a new Jeep. You're in high school. It's going to be great. I don't want that. What do you mean? I want a Tesla. Why? Charlie bought a Tesla. His parents took care of him. I deserve it. Do you see how stupid that sounds? When you put it in those kind of analogies, does it really ring to you and understand how whacked these people are? Hey, let's just give him $56 million because Justin got it. I just don't get it. and it goes with some of the people out there talking. And this drove me crazy. You guys all know Doug. Doug, and this is what I meant by they're telling you shut up and take it. At the end of the day, Tua is going to get a contract extension, quote, because he deserves it. It's about how much and how the contract is structured that I'm interested in, but he deserves it. And I just keep seeing that over and over. Good Lord, Tua Tagovailoa deserves a big contract because Justin Herbert got one. Are you friggin' serious? That's a fiscal rationale from some Miami Dolphins fans. I can't believe I just read that. Still can't believe I just read it again. So he didn't actually earn it, but because other teams paid their guys, Tua should too. If they give Tua a big guaranteed contract, the only thing that is deserved is what will happen to this team. You have to accept that. If you're for them giving Tua $50 or $60 million, then you're pretty much saying, I'm okay with what happens moving forward. We haven't won a single playoff game. He's fallen apart in December and January. He's had an all-star team basically surrounding him. People are complaining about the offensive line. Okay, Patrick Mahomes worked with a lackluster offensive line, but hey, let's just leave that as it is because he's Patrick friggin' Mahomes. But wait a minute, Tua's elite. We're going to pay him $56 million, right? So couldn't Tua work through the injuries of the team just like Patrick Mahomes? Because he's elite too, right? He's going to find a way to put this team on his back and win playoff games, right? No, he's not. He's already proven that much, so he's got to prove the other side. Yeah, I can do that. Good luck. All right, prove it on your option year. Why am I paying you $56 million? You have not proven that you deserve that kind of money. I find myself basically, and I talked to TD about this, I'm like, they do this, they're going to give us just a boatload of content. We will have so much content that it'll become boring because we will be showing what Tua is doing and then reminding people, you paid for this. You paid for this potential clunker. And all the way up to December of next year, if he gets $56 million, he's going to be wearing that around his neck. Where you now are getting elite quarterback money, which means I get to hold you to a new level of scrutiny. Screw Tuanon, screw the nuts. You are entering this category, which means you have to be as good as Patrick Mahomes. You have to be as good as Brock Purdy. You have to be as good as Lamar Jackson. You have to be as good as Josh Allen, etc., etc., etc. Joe Burrow. No excuses. You lose, you get trashed. Period. You don't perform at this level and put that team on your back, you're going to have the worst media experience any quarterback has ever had. You think I'm lying? I told you about that last year. You think once they find out that Tua just got paid $55 million, they won't just be salivating? Every single thing he does. When he shows up to camp, what does he look like? What's his weight? How's he throwing? What's he doing? Every single thing. If he can't take the pressure of a Pro Bowl event, what kind of pressure is Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer going to put him under if he gets a contract for $60 million? There's no more excuses. As Tyreek Hill said, no more excuses, and we need better leadership in the locker room. I think I showed you guys that video. Tyreek Hill just said that. No more excuses and better leadership. And the guys on the panel, nobody asked him, who's making excuses? And secondly, who's not providing leadership that you're expecting better leadership? Keeping those receipts. Tua said he's keeping them. Everybody else is too. Everybody else is just going to just look at Tua in a completely different lens because now you're stepping up with the big boys and you're accepting a payment and you're negotiating a contract that says, I'm here. I am with the big boys. I am one of them. And you got no net. I hope if the Miami Dolphins do that Tua understands you have no net. I mean, $56 million, I wouldn't give a shit what you said about me. I don't care what you say about me. But we all know Tua does care. Tua does care what people say. He's shown that over and over this season, even though he says, I don't get on social media. That's a crock. Somehow it gets to him. and we're going to see the media destroy him. I can't even imagine what it'll be. Let me take a few more comments here. Greer, trash O-line, trash Tua, trash Tyreek Hill, trash Mike McDaniel. Where was this? We are going to get all the backup QBs saying we deserve that money also because we are better than Tua. 62 million. Give him 62 million to reset the market. I mean, people are actually talking about him setting the market. Tony, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, hold on. I love this kind of comment. Guys, wasn't Tua being talked about as an MVP candidate mid-season, which says to me Tua didn't play as bad as all you haterade drinkers are complaining about. No, he did fantastic. He was amazing against crap teams. In case you're just joining us for the first time, he completely shit the bed against teams that were of playoff caliber. Those numbers and those elite numbers that were being put up were against shit teams. When they needed him to win, when they needed him to put the team on his back, nobody talked about Tua being an MVP candidate anymore. Nope, not talking about it. Hey, we saw Tennessee. Couldn't get a first down. We saw Kansas City over in Germany. That talk that you're referring to evaporated, went away. People saw things. They watched film. They didn't look at stats anymore. We could see it. These were nationally televised games. Like, oh, he just did it again. Oh, he just did it again. So you can save that. He was supposed to be an MVP candidate. Okay, so somebody had once commented on one of my posts, if they give an MVP award for September to October, then that would be the award that Tua may be able to pick up. The September and October MVP award goes to Tua Tagovailoa. But unfortunately, there's 17 weeks in a season, and the body of work is what counts. And you must not realize what happened after or actually the beginning of December. Go look at the numbers. Since you love numbers, go look it up. So I love this one. So he beat all the teams he was supposed to. No, you're supposed to win every single game. And then, of course, that's not going to happen since the 1972 Dolphins. We don't think you're going to win 17, but we don't expect you to go completely shit the bed. Only Dolphins fans come up with statements like that. Well, he won all the games he was supposed to. Well, you're supposed to beat the Titans. Did it happen? No. You're supposed to beat Kansas City because that's when it counted. Twice. You're supposed to beat the Buffalo Bills. You had a 3-game lead on them, and they beat you twice. You're supposed to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Didn't happen. I don't understand how people have such tunnel vision and don't see these things. It's like they stopped watching after like November 1st. Did you not see the end of the season? You think none of those teams was Tua supposed to beat? None of those teams from November 1st on were supposed to be beaten? Wow. Well, Dallas was our Super Bowl. Yeah, I pretty much think a lot of people feel that way at this point, that Dallas was a Super Bowl. Go back to what Kansas City did. They had a playoff quarterback They had a playoff quarterback in Alex Smith and traded up for Mahomes and sat him for a year. Not a lot of people really understand that. They don't understand that Patrick Mahomes was brought in the same year Alex Smith had a top flight year. You bring in guys. You get them ready. Good teams understand that. There goes another season going out the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, $56 million. Do you guys know, maybe some of you are too young, the history of the Patriots? You understand they had a starter, a decent starter. Drew Bledsoe was a starting quarterback. They drafted this kid, number 199. Quarterback out of Michigan that didn't have really any kind of body, looked kind of flaccid. They drafted him 199. Drew Bledsoe went down, never saw the field again. The story of Tom Brady was made, and that was it. Bill Belichick, smart coaches know, hey man, this guy's playing some serious ball. We need to take a look at him. Well, Skylar did it in the playoff game. What happened? Why was Skylar Thompson not given a shot to run at Tua Tagovailoa? Tua was put in before he was ready over Fitzmagic. That's possibly that's possible. $100 million. Wow, did he make that much money in Bledsoe and still end up drafting quarterbacks? You have to. This is the only organization I've ever seen that doesn't draft quarterbacks. It's amazing to me how they don't want to take a run at the next guy. At least Chris Greer doesn't. Chris Berry again. Tua at QB in 2024 with that big contract. The Dolphins will not make the playoffs in 2024. No, I don't think. Anthony, I'm sorry. I don't see your last comment. It must have gotten pushed down too fast. They come in so fast, I don't see them. Let's see here. You guys are doing a lot of excuse making. Remember, Tyreek said no more excuses. Here's your excuse. Kansas City has Andy Reid. Pat would not be the same without him. Facts. The hell does that mean? I don't understand what you mean. So you're telling me that Mike McDaniel can only be the one handling Tua because Tua wouldn't be the same without Mike McDaniel? Dude, that's even worse. Rank the AFC East quarterbacks, assuming the Pats take Jalen Daniels. Whew, that's interesting. So I think you'd have to put Josh Allen at number 1. I think you have to put, just by virtue of his resume, Aaron Rodgers at number 2. Then you'd put Tua at number 3, and then a rookie like Jalen Daniels would be number 4. I think a lot of you guys forgot about Aaron Rodgers coming back. Yeah, I know he's going to be 40, but his resume, since we all know he's a Super Bowl MVP winner, his resume is more impressive than Tua. And who knows what would have happened with the Jets if they had kept Aaron Rodgers past the 4th play of the game of the first game of the season. So, Tua's basically going into 2024 as the 3rd best quarterback in that division. Not even in the conference, in the division. That's tough, man. That's really tough there. Okay, Anthony, I see you're saying. Barry, remember the excuses and allegations that the fan base for Tua is making, saying that Brian Flores sabotaged his rookie year without any proof. Yeah, it seems like that was a made-up narrative, if ever was. He sabotaged him. Now we're looking back and going, what did Brian Flores see? What did Brian Flores know? Brian Flores had said, unless I coddle this kid and basically treat him like a little puppy, I'm not going to be able to get anything from him. He doesn't have any heart. I don't know. But something Brian Flores saw end up coming through this year. I mean, he completely folded at the end of the season. And, there's no excuse for it. One player can't be blamed for every game a team loses, guys, period. I love that's one of the other excuses. So if let's see, Kansas City lost last night, who would people be talking about today didn't get the job done? They wouldn't be talking about the offensive line, maybe the wide receivers, but any quarterback worth his salt says it's on me. That's what you're not understanding. An elite quarterback, you don't even have to wonder. They will tell you, it's on me. I am an elite quarterback. I am that guy. The fans are the only people who make that kind of shitty excuse. You can't blame it just on one guy. You shouldn't have to. That quarterback should come up to the podium after the game and goes, I got to perform better. I didn't do it. This loss is on me. XYZ receiver, I didn't throw that ball when I should have. I didn't make this read when I should have. Everything starts at the quarterback position. Everything ends at the quarterback position. You're making excuses for Tua. Any elite quarterback will tell you, it's on me. I'm the one who has to make it happen. It's 3rd and 1. Hey, Tua, go run a quarterback sneak. Ooh, hey, I can't do that. I'm going to hand the ball off. No, instead of handing it off, I'm going to throw a screen because I can't stick my head in there. Go back and look it up how many quarterback sneaks Mike McDaniel called with Tua at quarterback. Go back and look it up. Go look up how many first downs he got rushing the ball. It's all on ESPN. You can see it. I'm not making it up. You watched the game last night where both of these quarterbacks said, hey, nobody's open. I'm getting pressured. I can't afford to throw the ball away. I have to go off script and make something happen. Tua doing that? Maybe last year, I've seen some film. This year, hardly ever went off script. It wasn't there. He'd either throw it away or, something bad would happen. Elite quarterback status. You're not going to have that excuse if they pay him $50 million. If the Dolphins were playing, trust me, your team would have been 20-0 halftime. I don't even know. Mr. Will says, Drew Bledsoe was a baller with a big contract, and they still brought in Tom Brady. The rest is history. Those of you who have watched football for any extended period of time, a lot of youngsters don't understand that. A lot of youngsters don't understand that, hey, Brett Favre, huge arm, guy's winning. Hey, we're going to draft this kid out of California, Aaron Rodgers. Why? I'm still here. Yeah, but we want to make sure he's here so that when you're ready to step aside, we have a guy. Oh, okay. And Aaron Rodgers, yeah, the story has been written. You guys don't, not you guys, some of you guys don't understand that for whatever reason. The great teams have great backups. And historically, some of these backups have done heroic shit when they've had to step up. Phil Simms got hurt, couldn't play. They brought a quarterback in? Hostetler. You're missing all this stuff if you don't think that good teams have a way of continuing to replenish and their quarterbacks don't get ticked off or upset or depressed because you bring in somebody else. Mike McDaniel's had 2 years, and he's brought in Mike White and friggin' Teddy Bridgewater, when last year there were a whole bunch of quarterbacks out there that they could have brought in. And so now you're looking at possibly Justin Fields. Hey, he sucks. Justin Fields sucks. He's no good. All right. Mike McDaniel is the quarterback whisperer. Mike, can you do anything with this guy? Can you possibly make him better? Because, we heard that Tua sucked from Brian Flores, but you were able to improve upon him. And I guarantee you won't have to make a 700-play tape. Have you looked at Justin Fields' offensive coordinators and head coaches and what he's had to go through? There's been no stability there. You don't think Mike McDaniel could get him to play? You don't think he could bring in Bo Nix? You don't think he could bring in Michael Penix or somebody to get ready? And again, we could just go back to Skylar Thompson. Why is this kid not getting reps? Nobody wants to talk about that. Lo-Fi Annie says Tua was 29-14 in terms of TD to interception, not even close to elite. Even Lamar was 25-7, 2-1, 3-1, which is better quarterback. Bonus, Lamar gets 1,000 yards rushing too. Absolutely. Let's see what's we got here. They will never pay a guy with so many limitations. I hope not. I hope for sure that they won't pay that money, but they may. Where does this here say? You remember watching Marino play? Yeah. And you remember watching Greasy play? You remember who Greasy's backup was and what he did? We're going way back now. A lot of the younger people in here are like, huh? What do you mean? I thought Bob Greasy was the man. Who did they bring in? That was one of the trivia questions this year. Who played for some of you younger people? I know the older guys that get it. Who came in when Bob Greasy couldn't go. I'll give you a hint. He also played with another amazing quarterback, Johnny Unitas. We're going way back here and how teams used to bring in other quarterbacks. There you go. Revo 3 knows it. Earl Morrall. Absolutely. Crew cut and all. Earl Morrall played with the great Johnny Unitas, and he played with Bob Greasy as well. Amazing, amazing quarterback. We don't do it. So before I close, I want to talk to you about one other thing. And this really, really bugged me. You know, with everything we've talked about, at least I've talked about, and with all the stuff out there about the Miami Dolphins being soft, and how that rumor got started and was reinforced with Tyreek getting his ass kicked at the line of scrimmage by J.C. Snead. You've seen that video. He's holding his hands in the warmer, and the guy just puts his face in the dirt. What did the Miami Dolphins tweet out? What did the Miami Dolphins tweet out and celebrate? I'm going to show you this. This just blew my mind. It just tells me they really aren't connecting. People just were freaked out about this. So the Miami Dolphins went out and decided they were going to put out a video and they were going to show the top celebrations. Celebrations. This is what they wanted to feature. The top celebrations of 2023. Oh, scores a touchdown against the Panthers here. Crap team. I think they won one game. Oh, look at the celly. Everything's great. Yeah, we're winning. What really got me, I think, is the next one. This is when I just could not believe what I was. Look at that. They featured the celebration after the fumble recovery against the Titans. They actually did that. Do you remember how that game ended? Any of you guys remember how that Titans game ended? Well, they got their ass kicked at the end of the game. And you're putting out a video about the top 10 celebrations of the year. There were people out there saying, hey man, there's still time to delete this. I can't believe you put this out. You're showing the celebration after you recovered a fumble and a heartbreaking loss where you got your ass kicked by Will Levis. And you're celebrating that. That's embarrassing. It doesn't surprise me that this team wants to give Tua $60 million. Why? Because it seems as though they've embraced mediocrity. It seems to me as though, for some reason, they are triumphant about mediocrity. You made a video celebrating your celebrations, even in your losses. I've never celebrated a loss in my life. How many of you have celebrated a loss? It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. I don't understand how anybody, anywhere, any fan is okay with that. Luckily, they got completely blasted. People are like, are you really putting this out? Are you really enforcing this to people? And we're like, oh no, you're actually putting out friggin' celebrations. That was important to this team. Celebrations. Think how that makes you look across the league. That you put out a video, even with one of the games that you lost. You lost against the Tennessee Titans, and you put that celebration as something to be proud of. This team is heading to the toilet rather quickly. I don't know what they're going to do next with Tua, but at this point, some adult in the room has to say, enough. No more ping pong. No more buddy-buddy. No more hard knocks. No more celebrations. You got to go win. That has to be the most important thing to this team. Not celebrations and being happy when you can't finish the season. Where's your celebration against the Kansas City Chiefs? Where's your celebration against the Eagles? Where's your celebration against the Buffalo Bills? You didn't have one. Not in that entire tape. You didn't have one. You got some stuff against the Commanders. against the Carolina Panthers, and you're like, woo, look at us. Woo, we did good. Let's do the roller coaster thing. You're an embarrassment. And so many fans are just sitting there lapping it up. Oh, this is awesome. This is incredible. What's next? Oh, you're going to give Tua $50 million? Oh, please give it to him. He deserves it. No, this whole team's a dumpster fire right now. This team right now, and you may lose a bunch of the players, this team is not serious. I'm going to call it right now. And a lot of the fan base is not serious. Until they get a winning attitude and fiscal responsibility, this team is going to continue to do this. You don't like to hear that, some people? I'm sorry. There is nothing, literally nothing to the contrary. You shit the bed at the end of the year. Your quarterback disappeared. What are you looking forward to? Doing it again? Oh, we're going to do some great stats in the first 6 or 7 weeks, and then we're going to go, is that what you're looking forward to? Celebrations, lofty stats, no playoff wins. If that's what you're looking forward to, then you may get what you want because you deserve it. We've heard that enough this week where everybody is saying Tua deserves $50 million. Well, I'm going to tell you that you deserve what you get. Well, I'm going to close here, but I want you guys to remember, we're going to talk all about this. Myself, TD, Omar, and Alan. I don't know if it's live yet. They haven't told me. I'll let you guys know, but it's coming. I know we're filming Wednesday at 6:30. I don't know if we're going to go live or they're going to put it up afterwards, but I hope you guys can all join us. I'd love for you to listen to the four of us talk, and I love what Omar's doing. He's really promoting it with the gladiator, couple little gladiator clips and stuff, and he's making fun out of it, which is good, because what a lot of people don't know is that those of us who make these videos and talk, we enjoy talking to each other. It's okay to call people out and say, hey man, you said something that just doesn't make sense, doesn't sit well with me, and here's why. You see, because you won't hear me say anytime to any of those three gentlemen, you don't know ball, you're a friggin' clown. No, hey Omar, I don't agree with what you said, I think you're full of it, here's why. Barry, I don't like what you said, I think you're full of it, here's why. That's how you have substantive discourse. That's how people talk, because you just can't say something like some of the guys in this comment section have been saying, well, Tua, you can't put the whole game on him. It's just one player. You're not giving a substantive discourse. You're not talking about X's and O's. You're not talking about what happened. So when we talk on Wednesday, we're going to dig in. We're going to drill in, and these guys are coming ready for bear, and they're going to have their information in front of them. I'm going to have to do my homework. And we're going to talk substantively about what we saw on the field. And we're going to make each other back it up. And you're going to hear it. If you see someone basically call me out and I can't defend it, my bad. If I say something to Alan, Omar, or TD and they can't defend it, you're going to see it. But you won't see us talking crap about each other. You won't see any of us saying, you're a clown, you're an idiot, you're a hater. Because we look for substantive discourse. And that's why I don't talk about some of the comments here, because you're not offering something that we can actually discuss. I'm thinking about bringing a call-in show where I just take calls and put you guys on and take your comments. But I just wonder how many of you want to have substantive discourse, that you're armed with information. I saw some of you guys who actually obviously knew what Drew Bledsoe's contract was, and understood that he got paid $100 million. Tom Brady stepped in, never saw the field. Drew Bledsoe never saw the field again. That's substantive. That gives us something to discuss. Calling people a hater, you pretty much ended the conversation. There's nothing to talk to you about. You can't even begin to substantiate the stuff that you're saying. You understand what an ad hominem is? Ad hominem is, if I were to tell you the sky is blue, and your response to to me saying the sky is blue is that I'm an idiot. Well, that's because you can't defend and have discourse with your position and how you think. And at that point, there's no reason to even discuss anything with you because you've already exhibited at that point you're not someone who's worthy of being talked to. So you're not going to hear that when we talk. We're going to dig deep. We're going to probably piss each other off at times, but we're going to do it cordially, and we're going to make sure you bring substance when we talk. So I hope you guys will tune in to that show. As soon as I get the information, I'll probably put up a quick community post where you guys can see it, and I'll probably put it on Twitter as well. But I'm sure if you follow any of the four of us, you'll see it as well. Talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in on a Monday night, and please, I hope we don't get a contract of $50 or $60 million in the next day or so. Thank you very much for tuning in. Talk to you soon.